All right. Hi, guys. Can everybody hear us okay? I think we got some thumbs up earlier. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. And then people can join as we go. So if we're get a few stragglers, that's fine as well. All right, Meg, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, welcome. We have a jam-packed call today, so we're going to get started right on time. First, we have 2 housekeeping notes. This call will be recorded for those of you who are unable to attend, or if you want to rewatch anything at all. We'll be sending out the link later today. Please keep your mics muted. You're welcome to have your cameras on or off as you wish. And if you have any questions and we have time at the end, we will answer them. But we also have our lovely coach, Lucy, here manning the chat. So you can go ahead and put them in the chat window and she will be helping us out. She'll try to answer them in real time as much as possible. If she doesn't have the answer or it requires a media response, we will save it for the end and send in a follow-up after the call.
Awesome. So just pop those questions in the chat. We'll try to get to them. We have roughly like 40 minutes of demoing to share today. So we should have time at the end. But, like I said, if we don't, we'll send up a follow-up afterwards. So first, for some introductions, my name is Robin Schmidt, and along with Megan Zimak, we are the co-founders and owners of Sugar Snap Shift Wellness and Weight Loss Accountability Coaching. We founded this company in 2019, so it's been 5 years now.
5+, yeah.
5+ years now. And along with our team of coaches, we have helped hundreds of clients lose over 8,500 pounds in a healthy and sustainable way through daily coaching and personal relationships with their coach. In addition to working with clients, we share tons of healthy recipes. We do that through our social media, so please do follow us. We also have a blog on our website. And then we've started doing these periodic webinars. So we do them both for our clients, which are private, and then we've decided to open it up to the public as well. So we see that there are people on here who aren't clients, and we're glad that you were able to join us. Please do join us for future webinars. We have your information, and we will make sure that we invite you to them. So we're glad you joined us today. If you do want to learn more about our coaching program after this call, you can sign up for a free introductory call on our website. That's www.weightlosscoaches.com. And just for signing up and joining this webinar, we will give you $50 off any program just for joining us. So we're glad you could.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. So welcome to our first ever meal prep webinar. We are going to try and do a lot over the next 45 minutes or an hour. Hopefully we're going to get to it all. We think we will. But the overall idea is to just provide you with a few things that you can make ahead and have on hand to easily combine throughout the week into several meals. Cooking live can be a little tricky. We are not chefs. We are moms and owners of a business. And this is not the Food Network. This is my kitchen. So we just ask for a little grace as we try to do this live. But I think we have some great recipes to share.
Awesome.
Also, just a note, we've sent out, and it's in the chat, the cookbook that goes along with this. But we don't intend for you to be following along at home and trying to keep up with us whilst we're cooking. If we were actually fully cooking all of these things start to finish, it would take about an hour and 45 minutes roughly. So we're going to use a little magic of television to show you some of the items in their finished form, because we're not going to sit here and wait for them to cook. So that will speed things along a little bit. Of course, if you have questions after this, you can always text us through the number that you registered with. We will do our best to respond. So you should have received a link to that PDF cookbook, and also Lucy's dropped it in the chat, I believe. And that's all the recipes for the webinar. The first couple recipes we are going to demonstrate live. The ones towards the back of the booklet use the components that we're making to easily combine into a 20-minute meal, if that. So the idea is that you're making these components, you've pre-cooked some things, and then throughout the week, you can kind of combine them into new things. You will also see on the second page of that booklet something called a share a cart link. And share a cart is something we use a lot with clients. If you click on that link, it will preload your whole food shopping cart on Amazon with all of the ingredients you need to make this. It's a third-party plugin. We didn't make it, but can be a little finicky. So if you are signed into your Amazon account, and you're on a desktop, it tends to work the best.
Yeah, don't use it as the mobile app. It will not work.
It can be a little bit finicky. It will not clear your existing cart, which is the good thing. So if you already are kind of building a cart, you should be fine. The one thing I would ask you to be mindful of is we put some things in there like olive oil and like garlic powder, things that you might already have on hand. So just go through and delete out as needed. All right. So first, let's just talk meal prep, like conceptually. Yeah. Most people, I think when you talk meal prep, you get this idea that you've got like these neatly divided containers with like dozens of meals stacked up in your fridge that you're just ready to go at a moment's notice. If that works for you and that's your jam, that's totally fine. But personally, I think most of us, our schedules are too in flux to be able to decide on a Sunday what I want for lunch on Thursday. Which is why we kind of try to go with the philosophy of components that can be combined into healthy and balanced meals. And then in particular, because we're often working with clients on trying to have proper portioning, when we're portioning out veggies, proteins, and starches, it's great for cooking for a household, right? Because you can portion out the proper amount for each person, whether it's a kid or a man or a woman, you have it easier to divide out.
Okay. So when we work with clients, as Robin said, we don't focus on counting calories or counting macros, but rather we just focus on portions and the proper combination of foods and food groups. So a typical plate should be about 1/2 leafy or cruciferous vegetables like salad or roasted veggies. And then the remainder of the plate you want to fill with a lean protein and a healthy fat, and then an optional compliant starch. Our program is paleo friendly, so our starches are gluten and grain free. We like low glycemic load vegetables such as roasted sweet potatoes, squash, or pseudo grains such as quinoa. And a healthy fat could be olive oil, avocados, some nuts, etc. Also, we are all about leaning in on shortcuts if you need. So organic store-bought rotisserie chickens are great. The bag salad blends and pre-cleaned and chopped veggies are go-tos as well. We also love frozen pre-cut veggies and fruit, but just avoid the canned options. And then we also like to leverage clean store-bought sauces and condiments.
Some to share too.
Yep, and this just add some zhuzh to your basic proteins to make them more flavorful and interesting. So some of the specific brands that we love are the Siete. This is great for Mexican cuisine. They've got a variety of sauces and spices, and then even packaged foods. We also love the Primal Kitchen. They've got great marinades, great salad dressings. They've got a mayonnaise that we like.
Their dressings are excellent.
Yeah.
These are all linked in our Amazon store
as well. The Kevin's, we don't like the Kevin's dinners, the pre-made dinners, but their sauces are great. We love throwing a protein in the slow cooker with their Thai coconut sauce, their teriyaki, and it's an amazing weeknight meal. Also, the Noble Made, we're huge fans of their buffalo and wing sauce.
They have a mild one too. If you're not a spicy family, they have a mild one. They also have a really good lower sugar barbecue sauce, which we'll use as well.
Yeah, so Noble Made is a great brand for grilling, summer grilling. It's really our go-to. And then the Good Food for Good is an amazing compliant brand for Indian cuisine. We know that sometimes Indian cuisine can be tricky to navigate, but the Good for Good food is incredible. And again, you can just throw these sauces in the slow cooker with a chicken or ground turkey, and you've got an amazing weeknight meal in less than 30 minutes.
Awesome. All right.
All right.
Cooking?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fantastic. All right. So give me a second because we got a 2-camera situation. The first 2 things that we're going to be making together are egg cups and chicken meatballs. And these ones are actually an easy one to do together because we're going to start off with a big batch of veggies that we're going to use in both recipes. So let me switch so you can see what we are doing over there. Okay. All righty. So first we are going to start off by cleaning and watching and chopping a few veggies of choice. So for this particular one, we are using onion, onion, red pepper, and we're going to do a bag of pre-washed spinach. Super easy. Okay. All right. But this one's actually a really forgiving recipe. You can use a lot of different things you have on hand. Some of the other great options are leeks, mushrooms, asparagus. What else do we do?
Zucchini.
Zucchini is good. And then you always want to have a leafy green. Kale, Swiss chard also works well. But typically I find that something in the onion family and then like some kind of harder veggie and then some kind of leafy green is the best combo. So because we are doing 2 recipes with this, we're going to do one very large onion, 2 red peppers, and then this big bag of spinach because we're going to put this in half. Now, the coolest part that we want to show you is this cool gadget here that makes things go super fast. It is linked in your booklet. It's in our Amazon store. But the cool thing is this little chopper makes prep a breeze because all you're doing is cleaning and quartering your veggies and then smacking it down. And you get beautiful, nice little uniform diced veggies. And it's super cool because they have different inserts that you can get to do like a different size. I kind of did a fine dice on this one. But you can do your pepper in there as well. And little magic of television, we've already started chopping, so we've got most of it done. So you're just going to chop up your onion and your pepper, and then we're going to go ahead and saute them. All right, so Mega's going to get the pan heated up. Now these pans, actually, I'm sure these pans, this is green pan. This is new. I just got these. They're also linked in our Amazon store. They are a ceramic coated pan. When you cook with ceramic, you want to make sure that you let the pan preheat for about 90 seconds on a medium heat before you put the oil in. That just helps protect the coating that's in there. So we're going to go ahead and heat up a tablespoon of oil. Typically, we'll use olive oil since this is not being done over high heat. Avocado oil is another great one that's pretty flavor neutral. And you're going to let that warm for a few minutes before you go to saute your veggies. Got it. All right. One thing to be mindful of when you're cooking these veggies is that you always want to go your harder veggie all the way down to your softer veggies. So like your onions and your peppers, which are a harder veggie, are going to cook much faster than like a mushroom or a zucchini. And then certainly something like spinach is going to be last. So always put the harder veggies in first. And Meg's going to go ahead and add those in. We'll show you what that looks like in a second. But essentially, you're just cooking them long enough to soften them and also get some of the water out. Vegetables tend to be very high water content. So we want to make sure that we cook out a little bit of it so you don't wind up with like soggy egg cups or soggy meatballs. All right. So Meg's going to go ahead and saute that in a little bit. And while that's happening, I'm going to show you a shortcut that we also used to love for these, that we also love to use for these rather. When we're adding the veggies to our egg cups, you do want to season them with salt and pepper when you're cooking them as well. When you season over a hot pan, make sure you're holding it up high enough so that it's not getting moisture up into your salt and pepper shakers. So we're going to cook off these veggies. We'll show you how to portion them out in a second. But if you are really short on time and you're trying to prep for the week, one of the things we like to leverage are these liquid whole eggs. Or if for whatever reason you don't eat yolks, there's liquid egg whites. These just save you a lot of cracking and scrambling, which is kind of a nice way to make it go a little bit faster.
And a lot of mess.
Make sure that you're not getting egg beaters. So we don't want fake eggs. We want just the only ingredients on this is whole eggs and then a little citric acid to make it shelf stable. And same with these. These are just organic egg whites. That's totally fine to use. We ask our clients to typically use the whole egg so that they have the complete amino acid profile. If for whatever reason you don't like them, use those egg whites. All right, she's going to cook those off. I will say we are also going to drain them because they will release quite a bit of water. So if you want to take those out, good. In real life, they would probably need another minute or two, but we're going to fudge it a little and drain them in the colander. Oh, you know what? We forgot our spinach.
I was just thinking that. You know what? Let me cook the spinach while you drain it.
Go for it. One thing, when you're draining these, a lot of times we'll take a paper towel and kind of press out the additional moisture, particularly with zucchini or broccoli is not so bad, but you'll want to press out the additional moisture from those. All right, saute up our spinach rather, Meg, and then I will show them our super cool new egg. All right. This is another great Amazon find. And we don't care if you buy things from our Amazon store. We make literally, I think, one penny per dollar, but it's just a good way to find everything. These little silicone egg cups are the best because egg has a tendency to stick really badly to like liners and muffin tins. So when we use these, they just pop right out without sticking. So we've gotten used to using these for our quiche cups. So I'm going to show you a little bit, switching to show you how we fill these up. All right. So typically when we do these, Meg's going to get my spinach going in a second.
Yeah, I know it's going.
It always wilts quickly, except for when you're doing something like that.
Of course, when it's time sensitive.
All right. We typically put about a tablespoon of veggies in each cup. And again, you don't need to use any oil because this silicone mold is the best. If you do use liners, make sure you spray them or half your eggs will stick to them. All right, so I'm just using half our veggies again because the other half is going into my meatballs. But I've kind of put a little bit there. How's our spinach coming?
It's coming on.
A little faster. Any questions so far, Lucy? No, we're good. All righty.
We can just throw a little in here now and let the rest cook away.
All right. I think we've got a little spinach to show you.
Yeah.
A little under sauteed, but in real life, you would saute it a little bit more.
Switch it over.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to put a little bit into the egg cup.
The raw pan is not the safest thing.
Not the best idea.
And remember, we got to save some for our turkey.
I can cook a little bit.
That should be good. Let's see.
Okay.
All righty. So we've got a little bit of veggies in each one. Forgive the kind of crazy looking spinach. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and measure. These one egg is 3 tablespoons. So we're going to go ahead and measure out a little tablespoon thing. 1, 2, 3 in each one. And you know what? For the sake of time, I will eyeball this for you guys.
Yeah.
But in real life, we'd want you measuring it out. You can always add a little additional egg white. You shouldn't fill it all the way to the top, or they can kind of puff up and go over. So you don't want to be too crazy. All right.
Okay.
We are going to pop this into a 350-degree oven. You can see how it looks. Right? Sure. Popping this into a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. One thing I will say with this, depending on how hot your oven is, kind of got to keep an eye on it. If the center is jiggling, then it's not done. You can put a knife in and test it to see if it comes out clean, and then it is done. I also love to throw sometimes a little garlic powder or salt and pepper in there, and that can be delicious as well. All right, since those are going, we're going to get started on our turkey meatballs with the other half of the veggies that we prepped for the egg cups. So give us 1 minute to switch it on over.
Okay. All right. So while those are cooking, we, said, are going to make our meatballs. And we typically like to use organic, lean poultry, either ground chicken or ground turkey. But you can also use grass-fed beef, depending on your weight loss goals, your cancer risk, and if you're a current client, the current phase of the program that you are on. So after cooling half of our batch of veggies, we're going to add 1 pound of, let me switch so people can see it. Okay. We're going to add 1 pound of ground protein, along with 1 scrambled egg.
1 second to mix it. Typically, you'd want your veggies to cool a little bit longer than this, but we're, like I said, a little magic of television.
And feel free to use the liquid eggs in this as well. Either one works fine. All right, got our scrambled egg.
Got shell in there.
We've got 2 minced cloves of garlic.
These are actually, I don't know if you can see this. We use the frozen cubes of garlic. Actually, let me grab them out of the fridge.
Yeah, 1 cube pops out, and it's actually the equivalent of 1 clove of garlic. So as Robin said, we're going to use 2 of them.
These are great. You can get these in the freezer section of Whole Foods. Like Meg said, you just pop out 1. That'll defrost a little bit. So this is 2 cloves right here.
And they also have packaged, pre-peeled garlic cloves as well. Just another hack, another shortcut. All right, so we use 2 of those, and then we're going to mix it up, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of either coconut or arrowroot flour as your binder. All right. And that's particularly important with the turkey and the chicken meatballs, as they are lower in fat, so you definitely need that binding agent. You can also use almond flour, as long as you obviously don't have a nut sensitivity or allergy. Now, we are making these pretty flavor neutral intentionally. As our clients know, there are many fun ways to mix this up. You can add cilantro, ginger, coconut aminos for an Asian flair, like a Thai version, or Italian seasoning is great with marinara sauce, pesto, etc.
Salt and pepper. Sorry, forgot to mention we do want to add that in there.
Always salt and pepper, kind of staples in all of these ingredients or all of these meals. And because we want them to go into a variety of dishes, as we said, we're keeping them pretty simple. And then we'll use sauces to zhuzh it up and add flavor to the meals as we go. Now, just as we did with the egg cups, we do want to be mindful of protein portion. So we like to use this 1 ounce scooper. It makes it super easy for protein portioning. It's great when prepping for a family. If If you want to grab 3 or 4, your spouse grabs 5, the kids grab 2 or 3. No need to weigh anything out.
Let me show you a little trick when we're scooping these out. Okay, all right. So when we've got our scooper, like we said, this is a 1 ounce scoop. If you take a cooking oil spray, like we have this avocado oil spray, give it a little spritz. Then when you go to scoop your meatballs out, scoop, they don't stick as much, and you can get like these perfect little sized and portioned meatballs.
Which also allows for more even cooking, obviously. So we're going to pop them in the oven once Robin's done at about 375 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. You can also do them in the air fryer. That would be 350 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes. But make sure that you do flip or shake the pan about halfway through the cooking time so that they're cooked evenly and they can crisp on all sides.
These reheat really well in the air fryer, you know, if you want that kind of crunchier exterior. I personally like them reheated in the air fryer. And they freeze really well. All of our recipes freeze really, really well because there's no dairy in anything.
All right, Robin, do you want me to continue on with that so we can
yeah, give me 1 second to do a couple
start
more.
prepping our next step?
And then I do need to wash my hands because we're handling raw poultry. Do a couple more, and then we can show you what the finished product looks like, both for those egg cups and these turkey meatballs.
Ready to
All right.
here for
Actually, give me 1 second. I do want to show this. So this is what I'm going to pop these in the oven. And actually, Meg, can you pop these in the oven?
Yeah.
I'm going to wash my hands.
Yes, it's a good idea.
So, but for the magic of television or Zoom-a-vision, this is what your egg cups will look like when they come out. Each one, as we said, is 1 egg. I put a little red pepper flake on these on top so they look extra yummy. And you can just look how easy that pops out. So I typically get the little snack size baggies, and you can put 2 per bag. And then people can just grab and go and reheat them in a toaster oven pretty easily. I don't mind the room temperature, but I think I'm probably in the minority on that. And then our turkey meatballs, I'll show you some of those. This is how those turn out. So again, you can kind of crisp them up a little more if you do them in the air fryer. This was done in the oven. So that's what those look like. And you can see I've already made a dent in them because we made them the other day.
Great. So now that we have our breakfast option and a protein cooking, let's get to our next dish.
All right. So we've got 1 breakfast option. We've got 1 protein cooking and cooked that we see the finished product of. We want to do 1 more protein and some veggies as well. So we are going to do a roast chicken with fennel, onion, and apple. And this one, I think we'll both vouch for the fact that it smells incredible because I made it this morning and Meg walked in. She's like, oh my gosh, I can smell it. It's really good. This one, we are going to need, I'll show you, 1 large onion. This could be larger, but 1 large onion, 1 apple. I like Honeycrisp, but you can use any apple. And then a bulb of fennel with the stalks and fronds removed. They tend to give it to you with like the big tree coming out of it. So you'll just chop that part off and you're only going to be using the bulb. So we're going to show you a shortcut to make this one go fast as well. 1 second.
Spots.
We good on questions, Lucy?
So somebody wants about freezer burn in their quiche. So I was going to suggest using an airtight container.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Someone did saying they had freezer burn with their quiche.
She said whenever I freeze quiche and defrost, it's sort of freezer burn. What am I doing wrong?
Oh, there's 2 things. One, use an airtight. Sorry, the question was somebody said they get freezer burn on their quiches for freezing them. There's 2 things. One, if you use an airtight container, That helps. The other thing, and really get it like close to the surface of the egg. The other one is you always want to, and this is a food safety thing, completely cool your food out in the open to let all of the moisture come out of it and all that condensation come out of it before you pop it in the freezer or fridge. Because if it's still releasing heat and makes condensation, that will then cause that all to form a layer, and then you got crunchy quiches, but not in the good way. Good question. All right, let us know if there's anything else, and we're gonna switch and show you our roast chicken.
Perfect.
All right, so we are going to thinly slice the onion. Oh, sorry, Meg, I stole your fennel. Stole your fennel. We're going to thinly slice the onion and the fennel. You can see kind of, again, speeding this along, we've already done an onion. We're going to use a mandolin. We have this linked in our Amazon store, but you can find it at most places like Target or Home Goods. Upper body going, Meg?
Yeah.
You'll simply shave the onion or fennel with the mandolin, and it's nice because it gives you, sorry, I'm going to just show. There's like kind of an adjustment wheel on the side, and you can adjust and get those nice thin slices. You always want to use this little guard thing that helps you protect your hand.
Okay, here we go.
That's enough of that. And you're going to get a nice layer of the fennel and the onion on the bottom. So that's really going to be our base layer for the chicken. We're going to drizzle that with some extra virgin olive oil. I'm using a fork to move the chicken, so I have to wash my hands.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Drizzle it with some extra virgin olive oil. Make sure it's like a nice layer. Salt
Want to
and
be
pepper.
careful not to overcrowd it.
And then you're literally just going to place the chicken on top. We got to add our apps. Get this. Get that chicken in there. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Fennel is an amazing one for digestion. And it's nice. It has like a nice kind of.
And it does work best with skin on organic chicken breasts, but we obviously recommend that you remove the skin once you eat them.
All right.
If you use boneless, skinless, it can dry out a little bit more.
We grab a cutting board. This apple, which we've cleaned, we're going to use another little hack to make this go faster. Love this. I actually got this for my kids because they were eating a lot of apples. And when my son was little, he'd always ask me to cut it for him. So this little apple chopper and core from KitchenAid, you just put it over top and smack it down. And you got your apple all ready to go.
No rosemary going here.
So we're just going to put the apple kind of wedges nestled around. I feel like I'm food network.
I know.
Nestled.
Smells like we're on Food Network. So good.
We're going to be eating lunch after this for sure. Sending you home with leftovers.
Okay.
Add
our rosemary here.
our rosemary. The rosemary is just a nice aromatic. And you are going to pop this in the oven
425.
at 425 for about 25 or 30 minutes. We need a little more salt and pepper on top of this as well, and a little more olive oil on top of that chicken. Fennel seed is another good one. If you have it, I actually don't, but sometimes a little sprinkling of fennel seed is good in this too. I'm just going to put a little more oil on top of the chicken, and this drains off. So when you go to eat it, you don't have to have all that fat. All right. You can put it on a bottom rack. You are going to let that cook, like Meg said, for about 25 to 30 minutes. If you want to check your chicken breasts for how done they are, you can use a meat thermometer, and you're looking for 165 degrees Fahrenheit as their internal temperature. I will say they don't always get that gorgeous brown color on the outside from just roasting it. So a lot of times I'll just turn the broiler up for the last like 2 minutes of cooking, but watch it very closely. And that'll give you that nice brown skin. Let me show you. So this finished product. So this is what it looks like when it's all done. It's kind of got that crisp brown skin. You've got a little bit of the apples and fennel and everything underneath. This is delicious. Like we said, the flavor's pretty neutral on this chicken, so you can have this as is if you'd like, or you can certainly remove the skin and shred the chicken inside for some other recipes, which we will tell you about.
Okay.
Right, quite the setup going. Okay. Oh, you want to talk about a little bit about sheet pan veggies, I think, just because that's a
Yeah. So another great thing that we like to prep alongside this chicken is just plain sheet pan veggies. And you don't even really need a recipe for this one. It's super easy to make when you just lean into pre-washed and bagged veggies. Some of our favorites are broccoli, Brussels sprouts, the baby carrots, onion. You simply toss them in a bowl with extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper, maybe a little garlic powder, rosemary, whatever your herbal of choices. And then we also love the seasoned salts. Jennifer Fisher is one of our favorites. Just spread them evenly on a parchment-lined baking sheet. Make sure not to overcrowd the tray, or they'll steam instead of roast. And then you just roast them right alongside your chicken. You rotate the pan halfway through. And these will also cook for about 25 to 30 minutes at 425. And they are a great one to eat throughout the week. You can add them into a stir fry. You can use them as a salad topper.
You have an example of them.
I think so, yes.
So
this is what the finished product looks like.
That's one I made this weekend, just munched on. I've got Brussels, delicata squash, some onions, some carrots.
Yeah. And we like the shaved, pre-cut Brussels sprouts, so that you're not sitting there individually cutting your sprouts. It's just another shortcut, another hack. And roasted veggies are great if you tend to experience any sort of gastrointestinal distress when you eat salads or raw veggies. Cooking vegetables helps to break down the fibers, so it makes it more digestible. So another win there.
Awesome. All right. We have some good stuff going, but it's candidly a little bit boring. So we could use a little bit more flavor. I know in the beginning, we kind of showed you some of our favorite sauces. You are totally welcome to lean into that. But I will say that, making your own dressing is far better. And we have a paleo almond butter sauce that we love. It is very similar in a flavor profile. It's like a Thai peanut sauce that you might get when you go for takeout. But since our program does not include peanuts, refined sugar, or soy, this is a much healthier alternative and it tastes far better. So one of the things I'll do, like if my family wants to order Asian food, is I'll just get a plain chicken satay and then I keep a jar of this. I'll make it and keep it in the fridge. I can take a lettuce cup, put the chicken satay in the middle, ditch the sugary sauce that comes with it, and just drizzle it with this. It's delicious. All right, you can either do this in a high-speed blender or with an immersion blender. We're going to do an immersion blender. I'm going to cut over and show you how we do it. All right, so that's a close-up on an immersion blender. We're going to use an immersion blender, but first let's show you what goes into this. So technically, I think if you didn't have a blender or an immersion blender, you could do this by hand. It would be a heck of an upper body workout because the almond butter tends to be pretty thick. All right. We are going to start off with a half cup of raw unsalted almond butter. This one actually isn't raw, but sometimes raw can be hard to find. As long as there's no added sugar, you are all right. We're also going to have, we're also going to have 1 tablespoon, where's your tablespoon, of organic tahini. Now, tahini is kind of a funky one. We don't put it in a ton of things because it is very calorically and fat dense. What is this? 2 tablespoons is 200 calories and a quarter of your fat for the day. But we're going to just put 1 tablespoon in this entire batch. Do we have a question? We're good. We're good. Okay. We're going to put a tablespoon in the batch. There you go. Dig in there.
You got to mix it around.
I know, it's a little thick.
Separate, yeah.
All right, so we're going to do that, and then to that, we're going to be adding 1/4 cup of. You need a separate spoon?
No.
a quarter cup of coconut aminos. So coconut aminos, hopefully if you're in our program, you're super familiar with them. They are a soy substitute. Let me show you what they look like. We like this brand, Coconut Secret. They are a soy substitute. We also try to avoid soy for the most part in our program. This is lower in sodium. It is a little bit milder and sweeter in flavor, but it is gluten-free. It is soy-free. Soy is a pretty heavily sprayed crop, so we also avoid it for that reason. But it's far less inflammatory. You're not going to blow it up like you would with a soy product. So Meg's going to add a quarter cup of those coconut aminos. Take that from you. To our container. And then we're going to add a quarter cup of avocado oil.
Measuring cup.
Oh, sorry, stole your measuring cup. I'm going to add a quarter cup of avocado oil. Both avocado oil and olive oil are considered good fats. They're an excellent source of monounsaturated fatty acids, so it's better for your heart health. But avocado is a little more mild and neutral in flavor, so that's why I kind of like to use it for this dressing. All right. We've got our coconut aminos, we've got our almond butter, we've got our tahini, we've got our avocado oil. Next, we're going to add some lime juice to give it a little bit of acidity.
That tablespoon.
I do. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's a half a tablespoon, so double that.
Double it.
So we're going to add lime juice. In this case, you'll see Meg is using some just jarred organic lime juice. You can do that. You can definitely juice one fresh if you are able to.
Just make sure there's no added
preservatives.
preservatives and sugars. We like the Santa Cruz brand.
And again, we're going to rely on these frozen cubes. One is garlic and one is ginger to go ahead and plop in there as well. So we've got garlic, ginger, avocado oil. We've got our coconut aminos. We need a little sweetness. Now, most recipes will call for either dates or honey or just pure refined sugar. We like to keep this with a low glycemic load and no added sugar. So we use this keto honey from Chalk Zero brand, which is a brand we love and our clients know we use often. It is sweetened with monk fruit, so it's all natural, but it has no impact on the glycemic load. So if you could hand me that.
Yeah.
This I find to be a little bit strong, so I candidly think you can get away with just kind of eyeballing roughly a teaspoon, not a ton. Also, if you like, pinch your red pepper flakes for heat. A lot of heat. All right. We are going to hit this with the immersion blender. So give me a second on the noise. And when you do it, you just kind of want to work your way through it till it emulsifies. Okay, as you can see, this is pretty thick. It's still, hang on, taste it before I declare it's delicious. It's delicious. Is it thicker sauce? If you're using this on like a chicken satay, you'd leave it about this consistency. I personally typically thin it out with a little bit of warm water. And then you can almost use it like a dressing. So like a Thai dressing if you did a salad. So that one is absolutely delicious. All right.
Okay. So the last.
I don't know if they can hear you over there. Let me move this over. Give us 1 second to switch our station. Getting messy in here.
Smelling good though.
Question? No, she was just noting that the camera had gone off.
So the last thing we like to prep is a healthy starch. And our program is gluten and grain free. So when we say starch, we are typically referring to low glycemic load starchy veggies, or as we said before, pseudo grains. So our blog has a recipe for a great quinoa tabbouleh, but we also love a good roasted sweet potato or a fingerling. And one of our favorite versatile low GL starches is the spaghetti squash.
I'm going to switch over so they can see me touching it. All right.
It's excellent year round. It's not just seasonal, and it's a super easy one to prepare. Tends to be a fan favorite for the whole family if you do share a household. So you're going to get a whole spaghetti squash and just slice it down the middle lengthwise. Sometimes they are a little difficult to cut, but if you let it sit in a hot oven for a few minutes, it will soften and be a bit easier. And once you slice it, just take a sharp spoon. We find it's easiest with the grapefruit spoon, and scrape out the seeds and center. And fun fact, the seeds are also delicious if you want to pop them in the oven or the air fryer, the little olive oil, sea salt. They are an excellent, nutritious snack. I like to use them personally as a salad topper for a little salty crunch. That way you're using the whole vegetable. So
1 second to finish.
we'll let Robin finish
Clean them out.
scraping and cleaning.
Get the messy jobs today.
Meg, how can you, get the seeds out to roast them? You know, like that?
I wish I could say that there's a trick, but unfortunately you're just pulling them out the way you do with a pumpkin, you know.
The trick is to get your kids to do
But if
it.
someone comes up with a gadget for that, I'm game.
Yeah, I would say the trick on that one is that enlist child labor. When it is all cleaned up, and half of it's on my shirt, you are going to have it looking pretty much like this.
Okay.
All right.
So then you're going to place it on a parchment lined baking sheet, and you're just going to spritz it with some olive oil here. Hit it with a little sea salt and black pepper as we do. And then flip it over. And you're just going to puncture it a few times with a sharp knife. And this allows the steam to escape, so you don't have any oven explosions.
All right.
Once that's done, we're going to pop it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. And this will really vary depending on the size.
Leave it here because I'm going to show.
Oh, you want to throw it?
Yeah.
Let's go back. Okay.
It'll look like this when it's done. And then you're just going to take a fork to loosen the strands. Sorry, Meg, you're saying.
No, that's okay. That's all good. So it's just going to look like noodles.
When you store this, we typically rather recommend storing it. You know, this is a nice glass container. I often will put a paper towel on the bottom to absorb extra moisture, so it's not like sitting in wetness and getting soggy.
Yes. And it reheats really easily with any sort of sauces. If you have a steam oven, that's my favorite way to reheat it, but also on the stovetop as well. Tomato sauce, pesto sauce, or if you want to do like an Asian Thai version.
All right. I think that's all our components.
I do.
Okay. That was a lot in 50 minutes. So now that we've done all our components and my kitchen's covered in different foods, that's okay. Let's talk about how to combine all of this. So if you look on the second page of your booklet, you're going to see just some of the meals that we've made using these components. So obviously you have the roast chicken. If you've done some sheet pan veggies, that's like an easy meal right there. But as we mentioned, you can take that chicken and shred it and make it into other foods. My big one right now that I've been on a kick on all week.
Robin has been a bender.
A bender of chicken salad. This is the last page in your booklet, I want to say. This is a delicious, heart-healthy chicken salad. We use an avocado oil-based mayonnaise, some sliced apple, some celery.
Yeah.
You and I are both into this one. And just leveraging that pre-cooked chicken. This is legitimately a 5-minute lunch that I'll throw together. But the thing that makes this so tasty is it's got a little thyme and rosemary in it. So it's like
seasonal.
Yeah, it's like a
fall
fall
harvest
chicken salad.
vibes. And the mayo that we like, everyone always asks, it's avocado oil based. Primal Kitchen makes one, and I believe Chosen Foods is the other brand that we like.
Both in the fridge. So that one's super easy to go ahead and make. The other one, which you'll also see in your booklet, one of the later pages, that clients love is the buffalo chicken spaghetti squash bake. And that's also legitimately like a 5-minute meal, because if you've got the spaghetti squash made and you've got the chicken made that you're just shredding, put that with, I think it's onion powder and garlic powder, an egg, some green onion, and spinach. It's all in your booklet. Mix that up, throw it in a sprayed casserole dish, bake it. It is a great one that you can throw in. I like that one on nights where people are eating at different times, because it holds well.
I like it. It's our family game day.
Yeah.
Game night. I feel like we're having
it's got like the buffalo chicken.
It's got the buffalo chicken feel. Yep.
Which is excellent. Another one that we have in the booklet is cauliflower rice stir fry. That one gets heavy into the rotation when you're kind of burnt out on salads. So all you're going to do is use a bag of frozen cauliflower rice and cook that off in a pan to get some of that moisture off, to get it unfrozen and a little crisp. And that's a true 10-minute recipe if you're using pre-cooked chicken, if you've got the sheet pan veggies.
And if you have difficulty with the cruciferous veggies like cauliflower rice, then you can also use the palmini noodles or the palmini rice. That's a great substitution.
Or zoodle.
Well.
Like the
zoodles,
zucchini noodles are great. You're going to do that with just a little ginger, garlic, and coconut aminos, which you should have on hand from making the Thai almond butter sauce. And that's legitimately a 5-minute meal. The other one that's super easy is to just obviously do like pasta night and take the spaghetti squash, put a couple of those meatballs on top. Any marinara that doesn't have added sugar or dairy.
Like Rayo's. Rayo's is a great one.
Rayo's is good. Carbone makes one. As long as you're not doing like a vodka sauce. Although I will say Primal Kitchen makes a non-dairy, a non-dairy vodka sauce that's pretty good. That's a great option, particularly because it kind of scratches that pasta itch. But a cup of penne is like 42 grams of carbohydrates and 220 calories versus a cup of spaghetti squash, which is 42 calories and 7 grams of carbohydrates. So much lighter, still super filling. Shockingly, my son, who's 11 and kind of fussy, loves it. And he's kind of a pasta kid. So that was a huge win. Yeah,
it's super filling. It's so satiating. As Robin said, very low glycemic load, high in fiber, has an amazing nutrition profile. So it's really a win.
Oh, we're muted. No, I don't know why I said that. No, there we go. Oh, sorry, I don't know what was just missed. All righty. Well, anyway, we have the ability to combine all of these things into some great different options. We've got our chicken salad. We've got our buffalo chicken spaghetti squash bake. And hopefully some of these things are going to be popping out. Let's open it up with these last 5 minutes to any questions that anybody might have. Okay. Any questions in the chat, Lucy?
Not really.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining. Hopefully this was helpful. And be on the lookout for some follow-ups from us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Take care.